I think that one of the biggest disadvantages for minorities is the fact that the prison industrial complex is such a profitable, growing business. And in order for them to continue to grow and profit, they have to have products. And I don't think the general community understands that human beings become their products. And when you look at the disproportionality of minorities, African Americans, Hispanics, you have to wonder if there is an intentional focus to be able to maintain productivity at the cost of a population that may not have the resources to do anything about it, as well as may not even know that they're being targeted.
Please give us your opinion about special education being a pipeline to the prison system.
Special education begins the trend, and it begins the whole track for being misunderstood, misdiagnosed, mislabeled, and misplaced. Special education is the entrance to all of those situations. Ultimately, when there's a lack of focus, when there's a lack of interventions to prevent long-term special education placement, ultimately most of these kids are going to end up in the juvenile justice because of the behaviors that go along. So if kids are placed in special education because of misdiagnosis, for example, then that means that interventions are going to be put in place for a diagnosis that is not necessarily the child's problem. Mm-hmm. So you're putting interventions that are not going to work because that's not what the child's problem was from the beginning. Mm-hmm. So you have interventions that's being placed on children where children are not going to respond appropriately, which may ultimately increase the behaviors that led to special education. So the behaviors may get bigger, all right? And as these behaviors get bigger, or as these behaviors increase, the negative behaviors increase, then other interventions have to go in place. So the bottom line is, when the child first went into special ed, all right, there has to be a very strong focus on what that special education is all about. Mm-hmm. What are the interventions? And the people who are agreeing to this special ed placement must be able to understand that this should not be a lifelong diagnosis. Mm-hmm. And most of the time, special ed placements are labels that stay with the child throughout the entire educational experience. You know, once they get in there, it's like coming out of that takes all kinds of advocacy.
Oh, sure.
You know?